just finally got up to 40 miles an hour. It took a minute. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're gonna be going over a 2020 Ram 3500 ProMaster high roof with the 159-inch wheelbase extended. So, as always, we're gonna do a quick walk around on it, then we're gonna take it out to see how it drives. A huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram and Sandy for providing us with this ProMaster. Definitely check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for new Ram, Dodge, Jeep, or Chrysler. Let's get into it. Now under the hood of the ProMaster, we have a 3.6 liter V6. It goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is not rated for this because it's a heavy duty vehicle. Power outputs though are 280 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end on the 3500, and this one is finished in black, which I think looks really good on the ProMasters because almost all of them are white, so this is just nice to differentiate it. But halogen lights right there at the front. They changed this grille in 2019 just to make it look a little bit more modern. You actually get fog lights down there at the bottom, but other than that, I mean, it's not crazy beautiful. Oh, and I did forget to mention, you do get little cargo lights there at the very top, or I should say cab lights, but yeah, that's everything for the front. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 25mm tires on 16-inch rims in the front and in the rear. Nothing too crazy. You do get mud flaps though in the front, and again also in the rear. You've got the little badging right here, and then just look how massive the mirror is. Now I'm going to give you guys kind of like a full view so you guys can see just how big this 3500 is. I've got to walk quite a bit of a ways back, but there's a 1500 series truck. Here is the 3500. Here is the key fob for the 3500. You have a couple functions. You've got your unlock, your lock, and then this is for the back door. And, well, it's a little flip out key. Pretty simple setup though, and well, that's all. So let's head to the back. Now opening up the back door, notice that the door opens up very, very wide. So we're gonna keep going, and now it's all open up. The other door does the exact same thing. So you just pull that little handle right there, and then you can pull it all the way back. And while we're looking at this, look, this one actually has the windows in the rear. Up, keep going. There we go. So now the door's all open, here is the rear. Notice that there is a receiver hitch on this particular one. Now we are going to step in. This one doesn't have a mat or anything, so I would recommend getting a mat with this because this will obviously all get scratched up. But if you guys are wondering, and hopefully you can see me, or maybe I need to turn this way. Either way, hopefully you can see me. I'm about 5'11", and I mean, I've got a good amount of headroom. I mean, I'm standing all the way up. Not quite a foot, but I mean, pretty close. And then in terms of other stuff, I mean, here's just kind of a look at everything. You guys will notice it's echoing a ton. I mean, this thing's huge. Like, there's so much space. So look, starting here from the rear, just like going all the way up. I mean, it's a ton of space. I don't think the camera is capturing how much space is in here, but you get this cool like storage space up here at the top in the back, which I think is pretty neat. There is one up there, but there's also this. Maybe like, I don't know if this might be illegal, but you could totally use this as like a bunk bed for like a little kid. I don't think an adult could fit up there unless you're like really short. But using this, you can open up the little side door here in the ProMaster and obviously pop down. And now that everything's open up, I mean, there's just, it's cool seeing it all opened up and I guess exposed. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there's a little net right there. But yeah, that's the rear. Now let's go over the rest of the stuff in the back. If you're wondering, the backup camera is at the very top there on the top of the roof. You got pretty simple tail lights. You got your logos. I did mention the receiver hitch. Other than that, I'm not going to go on anything else because the back's pretty simple. But look at the windows. I should mention this because some people will be worried about privacy if they get this. You guys can see, I mean, I can't even see through with the camera. They're super tinted for the back windows, so it's really hard to actually see through them. Now over here, this is a little gas cap thing, so that's where we're going to fill up with the gas. And then here is a look at the mirror just so you guys can see just how large the mirror is, and you can see my reflection too. Now opening up the front, you do get this little like rubber padding here, but all the rest of this, I mean, as you can see, it's all hard touched. This is a huge little storage bin. If you guys kind of remember from the 1500s I've reviewed in the past, this is all super similar. Here are these seats up front. Really basic seats, but you do get manual adjustments all on the seats, and then this is actually your little e-brake. There is the pedals at the bottom, and then you got a ton of stocks right there, but yeah, there's one. Or I forgot to mention one more thing. You got auxiliary switches, and now there's one more look before we pop in. Now it does have a little flip out key, so just gotta put that in, and then everything will, well, pop onto life. Here is the steering wheel in the ProMaster. So you've got like the controls for the phones on one side, you've got little volume controls on the other side, just really basic steering wheel. There's a ton of stocks though. So that's for your windshield wipers, that's for your lights, and then that down there is for the cruise control. But again, like I said, super basic. Now coming into the gauge, Notice that we've got the RPMs on that side, and then you've got the speed on the other side. It looks like we're probably going to have to drive another 3,500 for the driving portion, because this one's got a couple flashing lights. So probably going to have to do another one. But regardless of that, that's the little center stack on it. There's your little screen, and yeah. Here is the center infotainment system. So I'm going to show you guys the camera, and again, it's kind of at a weird angle. So this is all you need to pay attention to. Everything outside of this is not the van. Just because the camera's at such a high angle, it's just, yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, that's the backup camera. Other than that, the rest of the infotainment system, you got these like little shortcuts down here. So again, it's on like the navigation. I can go to the media, but I have no device connected. Pretty easy to use, just not a whole lot of functions on the infotainment system itself. We've got the climate controls down here and the most satisfying door lock and unlock sound ever. You're welcome. Got the shifter over here, and you do have the tow haul mode right next to the shifter. Now, just remember, if you pull it down, notice that it'll illuminate right here if you are in the manual mode. I know it sounds silly, but a lot of times when you pull it down, you kind of just pull it down and instantly over by accident. So I guess just be aware of that. And then you got this little concave part with a bunch of cup holders at the bottom. Now let's touch the point of storage. So you've got this storage space right here, and then you've got the glove box, which is some more storage. And then this is pretty cool. You could like hold some papers up under that little thing right there. And then finally up top here, there is some extra storage space. I showed this a little bit earlier, but you could store more stuff up here. And the sun visors themselves, they have this little kind of like slide through pocket. So in terms of storage space, there is plenty of storage space. And the headliner here is actually pretty nice. Well, now that we're done going over the interior on this ProMaster 3500, let's quickly talk about pricing. So this particular ProMaster, with all the options it has, stickers for $48,000 before any type of market adjustment, which I think this is one of the most expensive ProMasters I've ever been in. That all being said, though, let's take this ProMaster 3500 out, see how she drives. Well, let me show you guys visibility in this particular ProMaster 3500 that has the windows in the rear. So you've got the visibility of the hood. It's really easy to see out of. Visibility through the mirrors is okay. This side mirror kind of gets blocked by this little line right there. Visibility through the other mirrors, though, is a lot better. And then visibility through the rear, I mean, it's pretty decent, but again, you don't have windows all across. Looking through the rear view mirror, hopefully you guys can see that, or I hope I got that the right angle. I mean, it's okay, but that all being said, well, let's set off. Well, we are setting off here in a 2020 ProMaster 3500, and I actually just drove a 1500 before this, so I can actually compare it quite a bit to the 1500, especially on the ride quality side of things. So far, I am noticing that this one does feel a bit bumpier compared to the 1500, so I definitely take that into account. Just as easy to turn. I am able to perceive the length difference. So this one's 159-inch wheelbase. The 1500 that I drove was 136-inch wheelbase, I believe. And yes, you can definitely perceive like the length difference on this. You can perceive also, again, the ride quality. Like this one does ride rougher for sure. And again, that's due to the fact that this one has heavier duty suspension, higher payload compared to a 1500 series. But the steering, I mean, just as vague, to be honest. It feels the same from a steering perspective as the 1500. It just feels bigger, right? And I know that that seems like silly to talk about it this way, but I mean, that's just what it is. Everything feels similar. It's just bigger. And just like mildly accelerating, it's okay getting up to speed here. We are going to get a real acceleration here in a moment, but just kind of like, I guess, getting up and going, it's pretty good. And sitting here while I'm waiting for this traffic, visibility, again, it's good through those mirrors. It's just the visibility in the rear, you can kind of use it with the rear view mirror, but that's it. I mean, when you look over your shoulder, you don't see anything. And well, let's get our little acceleration here. Okay, we just finally got up to 40 miles an hour. It took a minute. I don't think we can do like a 0 to 60. I think we do like a 0 to 20. No, just kidding. It's not quick. I mean, 280 horsepower. What do you guys expect? But again, I said this in my 1500 video. I just don't know if people buying this really need that much power. I don't know if they really like feeling like they need that much power. I want you guys to comment down below if you own one of these, if you feel like you wish it had more power. But that will lead me to summing things up. So if you're looking for a large cargo van, I would say that this 3500 is going to be more of like a niche product. You need to really look into how much payload you need. So this is the reason I want to talk about this. If you are not going to be needing to use the payload and you're not going to be needing to use the height or the length, I would save your money and get a smaller van. But if you're doing a camper conversion and just you're decking it out like crazy and just the stuff that you're using is so heavy that you need the extra payload, then yes, this makes sense. But I would do all your research before you buy a van, because the 1500 that I drove before this was about 34 grand, I think. This one's 48 grand, which is a huge price difference. I mean, think about all the stuff that you could personalize with the van, you could add to the van for the price difference between the two. So again, I would just definitely do your research, make sure you need the payload, make sure you need the length, make sure you need the height, and then go and purchase the van. So that's all. That is gonna sum things up for our video on the 2020 ProMaster 3500 with the high roof, 159-inch wheelbase extended. So as always, again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram and Sandy for providing us with this 3500. Check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a new Dodge, Ram, Jeep, or Chrysler. I will see all of you in the next video.